Fish on. Fish on. Big one. Big one. All right, in this video, I'm gonna give you a basic setup that you could use while you're fly fishing or spin fishing on the Salmon River for salmon or steelhead. So on the fly rod, if you're spin fishing, you only have to worry about this section of the setup. But on the fly rod, you're gonna want an 8 to 10 weight fly rod for salmon. You could also get away with the 7 weight setup if you're going for steelhead, using a large arbor style reel with a smooth drag. I'll post a link in the description to a few cheaper arbor reels that you can find that actually work, that I used last season for like 50 bucks. That also come with a 2-year warranty. I'll also post a link in the description to all the baits that we're using. So on the fly setup, I use floating line. From the end of the floating line, I have what I call my main line to a swivel. In this setup that I have, my main line is actually pretty short. Usually I only use like 2 to 3 feet, but you could go up to 8 feet on the main line. The length of your main line is gonna depend on the action, right? So if you're not getting bites, you're gonna wanna use a longer main line. If the action is hot and heavy, doesn't really matter. On this main line, I like using 20-pound fluoro to a 50-pound barrel swivel, and then I have my split shot above the barrel swivel. The amount of split shot that you use depends on, the water flows and the type of water that you're fishing. 9 out of 10 times I'm using 1 large split and 1 small split. I usually don't like fishing tin. Here's why. That's tin. The problem with tin is that there's a lot of flash there, and fish that see a million different people, they get line shine. So by the time they get up to a ballpark or a town hole, a fish that sees flash from this is going to be avoiding you. So I like using, dirtier split, older split, that kind of blends in and is a little bit more natural. In the Ontario tribs, there are a lot of regulations, and in this case, your hook can't be more than 4 feet away from your split shot. So what I do, I don't know if you can see this, but on my rod, I actually put a piece of duct tape, all right, 4 feet away from the end of my rod. So when I'm fishing, I could take the swivel, put it at the end of my rod, put it to my duct tape to measure it, to make sure that it's not too long. For this section of the leader below the swivel, you could use anything from 15-pound line to 8-pound line. 8-pound line is more ideal for steelhead, and sometimes when you're steelhead fishing, you could even downsize to 6. But anyways, 9 out of 10 times, if I'm salmon fishing, this section of the leader line is going to be 12-pound fluorocarbon line. A lot of the guides use straight Maxima, that's a monofilament in a chameleon color because it blends in with the water up there. I'm a bass fisherman, so I prefer fluoro because you know what? Fish aren't going to see it. For the hook, I use a size 2 owner. They're sharp as hell. And for the bait, I use a crazy egg. There's 2 colors that I use. I use the glow-in-the-dark orange, which is like high visibility for you to see the bait. And then I have a more natural color. This is a root beer color that looks a little bit more like the eggs that the salmon are laying. To review, you got 20-pound fluorocarbon line to a 50-pound swivel, 2 split shot or so above the swivel to a 12-pound, 3.5-foot fluorocarbon leader to a size 2 hook with a dancing egg, or any egg pattern fly or bait or even egg sacs will work here. This is my basic setup that I'm using up there. Another setup that I'll use is straight fluorocarbon line. All right, so I'm not using any fly line. I'm using straight fluorocarbon line. Especially if you're battle fishing, you don't have to tie up 2 different leaders of swivel and all this. This is ideal because if you get hung up and you try to break it off, usually this line breaks because this is 12-pound and this is 20-pound. You could at least get your split shot and your swivel back. But if you're battle fishing and you have to step off the water to retie and the run is hot and heavy, you don't have time to set this all up. So what I use is straight fluorocarbon line to the same hook and bait, and then I'll just take the split, I'll measure it about 3.5 or so feet up, and I'll just pinch the split shot right on the line. So those are a few different rigs that you can use at the Salmon River. If you have any questions, post them below. I actually put a script together for some tips that'll help you catch more fish at the Salmon River. If you want me to make that video, click the like button. If you want to see more Salmon River related videos, make sure you subscribe and click the bell. We'll be hitting it hard this year. Thanks for watching, guys.